Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll discuss about legal aspects of business, UNIT-3, Payment of Wages Act 1936. It comes under the Chapter 6. So we'll see the introduction part of that Payment of Wages Act 1936 in this video, and we'll discuss about the objectives and what are the sections comes under the Act 1936. Before that, if you are watching this video for the first time, do subscribe my channel for more videos. Let's go on to the introduction part. So with the growth of industries in India, problems relating to payment of wages to persons employed in industry took an ugly turn. The industrial units were not making payment of wages to their workers at regular intervals, and wages were not uniform. The industrial workers were forced to raise their heads against their exploitation. In 1926, Government of India wrote to local governments to ascertain the position with regard to the delays which occurred in the payment of wages to the persons employed in industry. So the materials collected was placed before the Royal Commission of Labour, which was appointed in 1929. On the report of commission, Government of India re-examined the subject, and in February 1933, the Payment of Wages Bill 1933 was introduced in the Legislative Assembly and circulated for the purpose of eliciting opinions. A motion for the reference of the bill to a select committee was tabled, but the motion could not pass and the bill lapsed. So the Payment of Wages Bill was again introduced in the Legislative Assembly. The Payment of Wages Bill 1935, having been passed by Legislative Assembly, received its assets on 23rd April 1936, and it came on book as the Payment of Wages Act 1936. We'll see the objectives of the Act. So it was passed to regulate the payment of wages to certain groups of employees at regular intervals and without any unauthorized deductions. It is essentially meant for the benefit of industrial employees not getting very high wages, and the provisions of the Act were enacted to safeguard their interest. It also provides against irregularities in payment of wages and unauthorized deductions by the employers. Further, it ensures payment of wages in a particular form and at regular intervals without unauthorized deduction. We'll see the short title, extern and commencement of and application comes under section 1. This act may be called the Payment of Wages Act 1936. It extends to the whole of India. It shall come into force on such date as the central government may by notification in the official gazette appoint. It applies in the first instance to the payment of wages to persons employed in any factory. To persons employed that is otherwise than in a factory, upon any railway by a railway administration, or either directly or through a subcontractor by a person fulfilling a contract with the railway administration, and to persons employed in an industrial or other establishment specified in subclasses of A to G of class and section 2. We'll see some definitions that comes under section 2. So the appropriate government, employed person, employer. As you know, employer includes the legal representative of your deceased employer, and employed persons includes the legal representative of your deceased employed person. And appropriate government is nothing but in relation to railways, had transport services, mines and oil fields, the central government, and in relation to other cases, the state government. We'll see the rules of payment of wages. So the responsibility for payment of wages is section 3. Every employer shall be responsible for the payment of all wages required to be paid under this act to persons employed by him, and in case of persons employed. However, in case of persons employed otherwise than by a contractor. In factories, if a person has been named as the manager of the factory under section 7(1)(f) of the Factories Act 1948. In industrial or other establishments, if there is a person responsible to the employer for the supervision and control of industrial or other establishments. Upon railways, if the employer is the railway administration and the railway administration has nominated a person in their behalf of local area concerned. In case of contractor, a person designated by such contractor who is directly under his charge. And in case of other case, a person designated by the employer as a person responsible for complying with the provisions of the act. And the final one is, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1, it shall be the responsibility of the employer to make payment of the wages required to be made under this act. In case the contractor or the person designated by the employer fails to make such payment. We'll see the fixation of wage periods. It comes under the section 4. Every person responsible for the payment of wages under section 3 shall fix periods known as wage period, in respect of which such wages shall be payable. A wage period shall not exceed 1 month. Next, we'll see the section 5, that is time of payment of wages. So the first one is wages to be paid before 7th or 10th day of the following wage period. That is, the wages of every person employed upon or in any railway, factory or industrial or other establishment shall be paid before the expiry of 7th day of the following wage period upon or in which less than 1000 persons are employed, or 10th day of the following wage period in any other case. In the case of persons employed on a dock, wharf or in a mine, the balance of wages found due to completion of the final tonnage account of the slip or wagons loaded or unloaded, as the case may be, shall be paid before the expiry of 7th day from the day of such completion. And the second one is in case of termination of employment. In the case of termination of employment of any person by or on behalf of the employer, the wages earned by him shall be paid before the expiry of the second working day from the day on which his employment is terminated. Where the employment of any person is terminated due to the closure of the establishment for any reason other than a weekly or other recognized holiday, the wages earned by him shall be paid before the expiry of the second day from the day on which employment is so terminated. Next, we'll see exception. Exemption is appropriate government may by general or special order exempt the person responsible for the payment of wages from the operation of the above provisions in certain cases. And the final one is wages to be paid on a working day. All the payment of wages shall be made on a working day. And we'll see medium of payment of wages. That is wages to be paid in current coin or currency notes. It comes under section 6. All wages shall be paid in current coin or currency notes or in both. However, the employer may, after obtaining the written authorization of the employed person, pay him the wages either by check or by crediting the wages in his bank account. Thus, payment of wages in kind is not permissible. Thus, it is obligatory on the part of the employer to pay wages in cash or by check. In the next session, we'll discuss about the deduction from wages, and in detail we'll discuss the section 7 that comes under the Act.